We've just concluded the fourth binational commission between South Africa and Mozambique. And in this binational commission, what is significant is the agreements that we have reached, 99 points of agreement and actions for us as ministers in the various sectors, in the diplomatic area, also in safety and security, and in the economy. And maybe just to go into a bit of detail in that is that Mozambique and South Africa are very strong trading partners. Mozambique is our fourth largest trading partner, and if we do not know, we've got more than 300 South African companies that are invested in Mozambique. And our relations in the energy, gas space is very strong. We know about the nkoka pipeline that both the governments of South Africa and Mozambique jointly own 80% of that. There are four critical projects that have been agreed upon, including the gas pipeline that comes through the Pafuri from Cabo Delgado to Inyambane and right through to the Pafuri in the Limpopo province, which has implications for the Limpopo SZ, but also for the development there, which is part of government's strategy of making sure that we expand economic growth and economic development and diversify the economies of the other provinces of our province. But in these agreements that we have reached, the 99 decisions that we have reached around the security issues, they include the major concern of migration of stolen vehicles into Mozambique, but critically how to repatriate the stolen vehicles quickly that have been stolen into Mozambique and get them back into South Africa. There's a number that we are working with the services in Mozambique. We have also agreed around border post management. You know, the Lebombo Garcia border post is one of the biggest border posts in South Africa, following the Bait Bridge border post. And Lebombo border post, and during the festive season, it operates as a one-stop border post. And the discussions include how do we progress that into permanent arrangement in line with South Africa's project of making a single ports of entry that is being driven by the Department of Home Affairs. We are also looking at, we know we've got a whole lot of Mozambicans who are undocumented in South Africa. How do we record them? Even before anything, so that when we have to repatriate them, we repatriate them, but also those that we are forced to accommodate in our schools for planning purposes, and what should be the engagement that we'll have with the Mozambican government on how do we as two governments make sure that the one state is not burdened by the citizens of another. So those are part of the discussions we're having. On the tourism front, we are looking at how do we strengthen our cooperation between South Africa and Mozambique? Because when tourism grows in Mozambique, by default, tourism will grow in South Africa, because the larger port of entry is South Africa. They land in Johannesburg, ORTI, and travel then to Mozambique. And part of that engagement is how do we strengthen those relations? How do we also work around the transport and logistics systems to make sure that Mozambique has the transport infrastructure that will work? And our funding agencies like the DBSA, the Development Bank of Southern Africa, and the IDC are very active in funding development in Mozambique. As a result, as a country in South Africa, we also benefit. We are also looking at how do we cooperate around the issue of agriculture to stop hunger, malnutrition, but to make sure that we can also export. How do we jointly collaborate? That's why we had the representation here. But also our cooperation around higher education as part of the skills development, skills transfer. There are a number of areas where South Africa can add value in terms of skills development, exchanging of skills, but also improving the contribution, because a stronger and growing Mozambique works better for a strong and growing South Africa, and we can leverage at the back of each other. And as part of the larger agreement around the diplomatic area is we are considering a tripartite agreement, South Africa, Mozambique, and Angola, as part of strengthening the belt and the cooperation. So we are very confident. Next year, South Africa will host the fifth binational commission. We are going to be reporting on the progress that has been made on the decisions that were taken here in Mozambique. And our presidents were very clear in terms of the marching orders that we need to then implement the decisions that we have taken here, which two presidents have agreed to as recommended by the Ministerial Council. And when we implement that, it will be beneficial, because we'll start to see movement in infrastructure development, movement in critical areas of energy. The gas cliff that South Africa is threatened with, in this partnership, we are hoping and confident that we will avoid the gas cliff. Thank you very much.